This is a big distinction. Everyone thinks if you voted Brexit because of immigration, they automatically think you're anti-immigration.
I'm not saying that. Hey.
Hello, we finally meet.
Yes, we do. Yeah. I wasn't particularly political until Brexit basically pulled me off the bench. You watch David Cameron absolutely wetting the bed, and I just had to get involved because I thought, well, if he's not doing it right, I have to. One thing I would say, however, is that because of the mess that we're seeing, it's turning some people on and turning some people off. Like, some people think, well, the politicians are just doing such a bad job, they're not listening to us, and some people think, well, oh no, they're doing such a bad job, we need to get involved.
They're not listening to us.
Yeah.
That's funny. I agree. I think the problem that could happen is that we have distrust in our politicians because they're not actually implementing the result of a democratic vote. And I think that's where the distrust might come from, actually, because people, for the first time, a lot of people voted for the Brexit referendum. What sort of message it sends out to then not implement that vote is scary, and I worry because there is a lot of distrust in our politicians already. So I think that could be the final nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
I think there's been this massive correlation between being a Brexiteer and being far right. I think that is categorically not true.
If you voted Brexit because you were fed up with a political system that has left your area behind, not a racist bone in your body. But unfortunately, Nigel Farage expressly uses racism.
I don't agree. I think what Nigel Farage argues, this is a big distinction. Everyone thinks if you voted Brexit because of immigration, they automatically think you're anti-immigration.
I'm not saying that.
But that's the main argument that Nigel Farage has presented. It's about control over that immigration. I do. I think in the first place there shouldn't have been free movement, but I would say that. Not even in terms of I'm anti-immigration. I'm absolutely not. I'm pro-immigration. I see the benefits that we can reap from it, and of course the people that have already come over, they absolutely deserve the right to stay here. But I think going on from this, we should have the ability to control our borders.
Unfortunately, there was a lot of, well, yeah, I'd go with lies from 2016 from Nigel Farage. Citizens from other EU countries make up 5% of our population, but they make up 10% of our doctors, which means immigration from EU countries is literally keeping us alive.
Yes, well.
Genuinely don't know.
One, isn't it?
Screw it. Sorry, I'm breaking the rules. I'm staying right there.
I think I'll join you. The reason for me it's such a tough one is because I don't know if the people that support Remain are actually liberal. I mean, liberal is all about freedom, and the EU is sold as this beacon of freedom of movement, freedom of trade. But the point is, it's a lie. It's not the true definition of freedom. To me, freedom is about having control over your borders, having control over your fishing waters. But instead, we're left shackled to the EU, and I don't think that is true freedom.
Unfortunately, one of the biggest divides in the country is been between rich and poor. There's a north and south divide, which has left large areas of the country behind. Now, there are some people who voted Remain who are totally okay with things as they are, and they have completely out of touch with people in working class towns in the north, in the east, in Norfolk. A lot of people, like myself, have woken up to just how angry people are across the country, just how much needs to change, just how much
because their vote's being ignored. That's why they're so frustrated.
The anger was long before the Brexit referendum. Nice. Donald Trump, he's the guy that says that most Mexican immigrants are rapists, criminals, and drug dealers. He's the guy that says some interesting things about women, says that women should be punished for abortion.
I think it's for us to decide. It's an internal issue. In terms of a trade deal, we should absolutely listen, because that is a brilliant opportunity.
Okay.
My dad is a massive Remainer. He went to the People's March. So I've definitely seen both sides. Me and my dad have completely conflicting views, but I think the way that we can get on and still have a great relationship, even though we completely disagree on the EU, is a good example. And I think a lot more Remainers need to learn that kind of tolerance.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's intolerance on both sides. You've got some Remainers that call Brexiteers all racist and stupid. You've got Brexiteers who call all Remainers traitors and blah, 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 blah. We need to talk better with each other. Okay, go for it.
So what do you think, since I'm a leaver, what do you think they lied about?
Okay, so they said that we could leave the EU without damaging trade at all. By definition, that's just not the case.
It is.
Okay, so
How can we not?
in Sunderland, there's a factory that sends 70% of its cars to mainland Europe. Now, if there's a barrier, then 70% of their cars are going to face an extra cost. Where would you put your factory?
Yeah, but
But what happens to those 35,000 jobs if they choose to put the factory on the other side of that barrier?
Oh, well, yes.
Yeah,
But
so-
I don't understand what that's got to do with...
You've just pretty much admitted that
There's
it would cause
I have
loss.
not admitted that. It's just that you said what would happen to those 35,000
Yeah.
jobs if they weren't there anymore. Then obviously people are going to be unemployed.
Yeah.
That's obvious. But I personally can't remember a time where their Leave vote actually said that. Yay! You know what? Although we completely disagree in terms of Brexit, I think you're a really nice guy, and I'd definitely like to have another drink with
Yeah,
you.
I'd definitely love to have a drink with you as well.